What? Welcome back to the Ketchup, where we discuss some of the top stories of the week that you might have missed. Let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to start with the Epstein files. Representative Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene say that they're ready to name all of Epstein's powerful associates directly on the House floor, using the constitutional speech or debate clause, which protects lawmakers from lawsuits. I didn't know this, but it definitely makes sense. Survivors say that they've been compiling their own Epstein list in private, but they fear legal retaliation if they go public. Meanwhile, a bipartisan bill would force the DOJ to release nearly all of Epstein-related records within 30 days. Supporters say that America deserves the truth, but critics say Washington is still protecting the powerful. The big question here is, if they release these people that are associated with Epstein, is justice actually going to be served? Or is this just going to be a big old pile of chaos at the highest level of politics and business? Because you know they own the list. Next up is Trump's tariffs. They are heading to the Supreme Court. The administration wants a quick ruling on whether the president can use emergency powers to impose sweeping tariffs. Businesses say that they are being crushed, while Trump argues striking them down could damage negotiations and force billions in refunds. These tariffs have already raised $159 billion, and now the Supreme Court could decide the limits of the presidential power over trade. This impacts your groceries, your car payment, even your job. It all hinges on how this really plays out. All right, so from trade wars to election wars, Trump just announced that he'll be pushing an executive order to eliminate mail-in ballots and voting machines right before the 2026 midterms. He says it's the only way to guarantee honest elections. Critics say that it's unconstitutional and dangerous, but Trump's allies like Marjorie Taylor Greene are already backing him up. This is a slippery slope because it's going to make voting harder for everyday Americans. Yes, the machines aren't perfect. The mail-in ballots are a whole nother thing. There's also conspiracy theories about those same machines actually working in favor of said person. We'll see what happens here. Now, it's going to be a sharp turn here because we're talking about nudists, okay? Over in California, residents at a famed nudist resort are suing management for forcing them to wear clothes at all times. The Olive Dale Ranch, once known as the friendliest nudist resort, is now in turmoil. Residents say that management is trying to push them out with harassment and inflated bills. While management, they're not saying that. They're saying these tenants are vandalizing the property. But this isn't just about nudity. It's about elderly and disabled tenants who may have nowhere else to go and just don't like wearing pants. There are people out there who have so much to say about getting a job, but it's hard out there. And actually, we've got the statistics to back it up. Unemployment has climbed to 4.3%. This is the highest in nearly 4 years, as the U.S. added only 22,000 jobs in August. Manufacturing and construction are shrinking, while healthcare and hospitality are the only industries adding workers. Businesses say that tariffs and uncertainty are holding them back, and the Fed are now expected to cut interest rates. For the first time since the pandemic, there are more job seekers than there are job openings. Let's head to Oregon. A former Alaska Airlines pilot pled guilty to trying to shut down a plane mid-flight. Yeah, Joseph Emerson, hallucinating from psychedelic mushrooms taken days earlier, he pulled the emergency engine shutoff levers while riding in the cockpit jump seat. The crew managed to stop him, saving everyone on board. Emerson got probation, community service, and fines, but he still faces up to 20 years in federal prison. He's since launched a nonprofit focused on pilot mental health. Not sure it was the appropriate time, but it's definitely a good focus. Let's move on over to JFK Jr. because he is getting grilled. Back in D.C., HHS Secretary John F. Kennedy Jr., he faced a grilling in the Senate over vaccines. Democrats are accusing him of undermining trust in medicine, while Republicans are pressing him on access. Bernie Sanders, he blasted Kennedy for suggesting the AMA and pediatric associations are corrupt. And Elizabeth Warren, she challenged him on CDC leadership. Polls show most Americans, nearly 80%, still support vaccine requirements for school despite Kennedy's skepticism. If these policies keep shifting, are you here for it? Are you for the requirements for other kids? Do you even get the vaccines yourself as an adult? And finally, the US government is suing Southern California Edison, blaming its equipment for sparking deadly fires like the Easton Fire, which killed 19 people and destroyed over 10,000 structures. Prosecutors say that Edison ignored risks from high winds and failed to upgrade equipment. They're seeking $77 million in damages, while families and counties are continuing to file their own lawsuits. Edison says it's committed to wildfire safety, but critics say it's too late, too little. All right, that's your catch up for today. From Epstein files to Trump's tariffs, nudist lawsuits, and even a pilot gone rogue. Which story blew your mind the most? As always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Ellie Andrews, and this is The Ketchup. Until next time.